Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to your reading with me, Cindy. So, Sagittarius, I'm feeling such an interesting energy as I'm getting ready to do your reading. How I would describe it, it almost feels like I might be interrupting your meditation. So I really don't know how that would be possible unless somehow my video accidentally came up and you were listening to some soothing music. But I almost felt like a hesitancy to come in and do the video. And I don't know if maybe you've been feeling like hesitant to do certain things. There's a real, whatever I'm picking up here, a real sense of just like calm and peace. And I did this once before for another sign where I felt it was actually important. And it felt like, yeah, I kind of feel like I need to do it with your reading where I'm actually going to ask permission to come in and read your energy. I mean, it's always sort of, to me, a given if you've come to the reading itself, that you are giving permission for me to do that. Yeah. So I'm asking permission to read your energy, to come into this space. It does feel like a very sacred space. It feels like a sacred space that shouldn't be rushed. It feels like a sacred space where nothing urgently needs to get done right now. And that's okay. It's just a really interesting feeling. So what I plan to do in this reading, I am going to have to, I feel, slip out of your energy a bit here. Because really has the feeling of not getting some things done. But that's okay. It doesn't feel like procrastinating or putting off what I really don't want to do today. It doesn't feel like that at all. Yeah, it just feels like you're in the moment. You're just in the moment, and it's a pleasant moment. But and it's hard to slip out of it, but I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to get a little more active myself. It'll be a balance maybe, because I still want to read your energy. So I'm gonna use the archetype deck, Gossip. That's interesting. Awaken consideration for the feelings of others, honoring trust. Well, you know, it's kind of funny. I feel like I'm kind of doing that, just coming into your space for this reading. Maybe there's certain things you would rather not discuss. Okay, that's fine, I guess. No, Spirit told me no. Anyway, so I'm going to use the archetype deck. Going to use the Wild Unknown Oracle to see what is kind of influencing. And we have the Tarot of the Abyss. And teeny tiny everyday, look at that, the Hermit too. Everyday Witch. It is kind of hermity. It's just, yeah. Feels very empressy, because, you know, I don't want to say it's hermity with the Four of Pentacles, just kind of like holding tight. Maybe some of you are, but, you know, it's more like there's a lot of beauty and growth and expansion even happening around you, and you're just like sitting in it. Yeah, it's nice. So let's look at your current and your future energy, Sagittarius. What is Sagittarius's current and future energy? Current and future energy for Sagittarius. All right, the current, oh shit, got that Gossip card again. All right, we got to look at the light and the shadow. That's what I'm doing in these. So, awakens consideration for the feelings of others. Honoring trust. Shadow. Thrives on the power of passing on private or secret information. Betraying confidences. I don't know. I just feel a really like beautiful energy sitting in your reading right now. I can't see how you would be in the shadow. Maybe some of you are. Maybe you're working through something that you've heard about someone else. Maybe that could even be a reason why you're trying to kind of keep your energy low key. You're kind of like, I have problems not speaking the truth. If someone comes up to me and asks me, I might spill these beans, and I don't want to spill these beans. But I feel like awakening consideration for the feelings of others, honoring trust, though, that is really, there could be information that you're aware of about someone, but it does feel like you've gained this information in a way that I also feel like just doing these readings, like there's a level of trust in terms of sharing what is being received and conveying that to you with as little filter as possible, really, right? I try not to get into the way of the readings, and yeah, I don't know, maybe you're even just like holding back in regards to someone else's feelings here. We're gonna have to develop this more. It's only one card. So in the future, you have Shapeshifter, skill at navigating through different levels of consciousness, ability to see the potential in everything, the Shadow, projecting any image that serves your personal agenda in the moment. I'm going to say, I think at some level here, at some point, I really feel like you know what? I feel like I'm talking to a reformed Sagittarius. That's how I feel like in this energy, almost like something that you have reformed about yourself. And it might have to do with interpersonal dynamics here and the information and the knowledge that we acquire through different vehicles and situations. I feel like in the past you had some capacity here to either obtain and maybe utilize certain private or personal pieces of information, and there was a sense of power in this. I mean, it could have been like within a family dynamic. It could have been within a work situation. It could have been something in a neighborhood or a group. I really don't feel like you're there right now. And I feel like you're in the process of shape-shifting. But I feel like you're more in the light side. Like, I feel like you've come out of something that maybe even an environment where gossiping thrived. And they say, like, it's not necessarily who you are or what you are, but even if you grew up in a family that was really like intense with gossipy energy, where like the people that we spend the greater amount of time of our lives with, the greater percentage, I mean, we kind of start to become that energy. It's inevitable. It's going to seep in somehow. You may not be as true to that energy as the original source is, but it will kind of get into you here. But now it's almost like you're really considering the feelings of others. So it's an honoring trust, though. But I feel like it's more because I'm really seeing that, like maybe even in a family, some sort of a family or group dynamic where, if you're playing in your room and you're always hearing your parents gossiping about the neighbors, and then you're hearing your sister or your brother on the phone gossiping about a friend. As a kid, you're like, okay, well, that's normal. So start doing that. You take it on. And then you realize, like, there is a bit of power in that. There is, but it's not nice power, because you can change people's lives and you can change how other people see individuals based on passing on private and secret information. And so I think you've shapeshifted, and now, but you have it again in the future. So I do feel like you are shapeshifting into a whole other level of conscious awareness. Maybe in some cases too, there is even, like where I'm seeing this going, maybe beating yourself up a little bit I mean, none of us are perfect, right? So we've all done things that we're not proud of, or that we couldn't have done better throughout our lives, because it's really what the goal is here. So, but I kind of, you know, it's when we do know better, and then we realize, why did I do that, or why was I doing that? And then we look back on ourselves a little critically, maybe judgmental, like even judging yourself. I feel like perhaps judging yourself, but I do feel, because of the energy that I'm coming in, that you've maybe come to terms with any sort of judgment that you cast upon yourself for past doings or participatings. This really, this really feels like what the image is what I feel like I walked into. Like when I sat in your reading. Also, maybe even some of you are involved something right now. You know, some of you could be on different parts of this timeline. You know, everyone's a little bit different, but there's definitely, maybe you're learning something about someone and you're not saying anything. And typically you would have, even if it was just to create conversation with others. Look at the information that I know, and look what's going on here. And, you know, it may not have even been malicious, really, intent to be malicious, but it is just kind of feeling like, wow, I have knowledge. Let me share this with you. Wow, look at this. Did you hear what is going on over there? Well, let me tell you. But I feel like you are receiving information somehow, but you're not doing anything with it. You are sitting in this. So in the future, what do I really want to say about this? I know you're continuing to shift, and it looks like a really peaceful, grounded. That's curious. I'm just kind of being pointed out here where these colors are sitting. I think it's the green chakra is the heart, but it's up near the throat. It's almost speaking what you would speak of your heart. The kind of orangey chakra is reminding me of, I guess maybe the third chakra, like it's also your confidence to speak, to articulate. And then the blue, I'm feeling, actually the blue and the purple are feeling like they're in the right spot for me. Kind of like your third eye and your crown chakra. You're elevating your energy. It's just like these chakra colors are coming up all right here. And they're not speaking too, like, right, the eyes are closed and the mouth is closed. So you're really elevating your thinking. It's almost as if you gain information about others or situations going on around you, you're really finding out in the future, like, the more that you absorb and the less that you expel, the more it actually gives you the ingredients to create a really new energy and awareness within yourself. It's like it permeates you somehow, and it allows you to see the potential in kind of everything, the good and the bad. Servant is at the bottom. Delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. The shadow, using the lack of money as an excuse not to move forward with life. I do see you in a very sort of service-oriented. I actually kind of feel like you're switching who or what you would service, or you would give service, or your time to. What is influencing this? Interesting energy. So kind of quiet and laid back. All right, what is influencing the current energy of Sagittarius, and what will be influencing the future energy of Sagittarius? Oh, wow, the owl. It definitely is a higher perspective here. You might even be changing your perspective and opinions on people, places around you. What is really funny is that the owl came up, and one of the things I wanted to say is, like, when you are, I feel like the owl, you know, is a symbol of wisdom, often portrayed that way, but it's because the owl, like, hears, sees, absorbs this information, but doesn't share it. And the more animals in the forest that realize that, I can tell the owl my secrets, and the owl won't tell anyone my secrets. Someone will say to the owl, oh, I heard that somebody was da 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 da. And the owl will respond with, who? They won't give anything out. Well, that's why I'm asking you. Who? Oh, it's a funny reading. You're collecting information, I feel like. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just happening naturally, or you just find yourself in a position to do that. Higher-minded thinking around it. Okay, what's influencing the shapeshifter? This bear. Someone else had the bear in the same spot here. It was influencing. And it's kind of coming out of a period, well, so maybe that's what's shifting. Like, maybe I am really feeling you in this. You know, eyes closed, peaceful, quiet, bit of solitude. And the bear is moving, projecting forward, having a desire and a sense to move into something new. So your energy will be shifting here. And I feel like as you shift in the future, you're going to see things differently. And I don't know, I feel like it has something to do with what's going on over here currently. The deer and the stingray are at the bottom. It looks like to me like the deer is observing the stingray. Could be. I mean, the owl is intensely observant. You're observing something. You are also observing the movement of these chakras. You could be observing this in someone else. You could be sitting back and watching someone else develop their confidence around something. You could even be like looking at your own reflection and starting to see your confidence building around an area of your life, or a way that you perceived yourself, sort of changing and shifting. You're really a vehicle. You're like a sponge absorbing information, I feel like right now. A sponge absorbing information. So we're going to go into the Tarot of the Abyss, and we're going to ask 3 questions in each timeline. What have you been working on? What have you been healing? What is getting ready to, or what is starting to blossom? In the future, we're going to ask, what will you finish working on? What will be healed? And what will be ready to harvest? The other thing I'm finding with your reading too is, like, I got like tons of downloads and analogies and metaphors and fable stories in a lot of the other readings this week. Yours is very quiet. It's a very quiet energy, and it's almost like staying true to this as well. Like, there are certain things that are not like coming through. Really, it's just, yeah. What have you been working on? The wise one. I love it. Now, before we go on, this card really does have the feeling of someone sitting around a campfire with some, well, it doesn't have the feeling, it's quite obviously depicted. But, you know, these 2 people that are sitting around what would look like the chief to me, they look kind of downtrodden. They look like they need some uplifting. But do you know what I feel like is going on here with your gossip card and the owl? I feel like what would uplift these individuals here is not so much being spoken to or lectured to or receiving, I don't know, any sort of outward advice. It's almost like what actually helps them is having a space to just sit and feel like themselves. And perhaps these are the two that are talking, right? And the chief, the Hierophant image, is receiving. So it might not even be like gossipy stuff. But really anything could be gossipy. Because if you were in a position where you would receive this information, right? I guess if you wanted to say like putting it in the shadow, you could go sit with the other chiefs, tell them, you know what's going on with those two. Why will they never get it? That it's their problem. Like, you know, like that would be like, even just feeling that, saying that felt really repulsive and bad. Because, okay, but you've been working on this. So I don't know, maybe you've been the chief in the past. These two are downtrodden. And what do you do with that? You just let them feel like they can sit in that space. I really feel like you've been working to come out, like, you know, and just looking at this too, well, this is this tribe's technique, right? Is to do this, and they can sit with the chief or they can sit with the medicine man or woman, and they're the ones that actually run the session. This medicine man, woman, wise one, chief, just creates the environment to allow. But then there's another tribe, and I feel like somehow you come from that tribe where, you know, this chief tells these two exactly how this session should be run, absorbs and hears what these two say, and then takes it to the other chiefs or medicine. Oh my God. Like, you know, it's weird. It's a really funny energy coming through. It's very specific. But I do feel like it's almost as if you've wandered and found this other tribe. And now you, I feel like, are either within the same tribe or in a different one. And whatever tribe could be to you, it could be a new community. Maybe you've grown up in a certain dynamic and you've gotten married or found a partner and you're trying to live in a different way than how you were raised. But whatever it is, it just does feel like now you have recognized the importance of just allowing someone around you to feel safe and just open up. And it doesn't need to go beyond that. I keep getting this just like sitting here in this energy. So now what will we do? But it is kind of like that chief too, like, okay. And they may even look at you, well, now what do we do? We look at the fire. Look at the fire. What have you been healing? Oh, the Three of Swords. Oh, I don't know. I feel like too, you've taken on some things in your life here that, you know, you need to release. There's a level of forgiving yourself for something in here. A level of forgiving oneself. Now, also, there's a part of you that is attached or has been attached to perhaps whatever we're talking about, or some element of it, whether that's, you know, well, that's my family, or that's my hometown, or that was my first spouse, or that was my job, or whatever, you know, whatever that attachment could be. But it is kind of like releasing this. And even at the, you know, the hole that you feel, it's like this shadow that sits inside you. So there is some level of self-identity that comes with this release also. that like feeling a hole in the self-identity. Now, as I say that, there's a portion of a reading that I already did this week that's coming in to fill that gap. And was it, oh, who was it? Because there's been so much divinity in people's readings this week. It was basically needing to stay in, maybe it was, no, I don't know. Needing to stay in a very intimate relationship just between you and divine, because it was almost as if like there was a hole there, but it was important that source divinity filled that hole, that you didn't wander out of that relationship before that that necessary goal was fulfilled. Yeah, and you know, too, because I did say something about you feeling like a sponge. So that could even be something, you know, just playing on that again, that you're releasing something, so a hole is left that has to do with self-identity, and it's right in the heart space. But it's important that this doesn't get replaced with something like a falsehood or a false, something like a new fake label to put over that it is replaced with the purity of who you are. You've been healing that, so I kind of feel like you've been doing it. What's starting to blossom? The Knight of Cups. Well, pulling up those sails, getting the wind in them, getting going. Your heart space, moving forward with your heart space. So I kind of feel like you've allowed some time to occur for this kind of like this hole. And this little bird is not the owl. Because that's the other thing that makes me, you know, identify the owl as one that receives a lot of knowledge but does not speak about it. Because all the birds are always like, so beautiful, so beautiful. Their conversations, but they're probably like little gossips all over the forest. And they are. Because whenever I go for a walk in the forest, the blue jay is the first one to tell everybody I'm coming through. It's like, so then everything moves, right? But I mean, it is a bit of an alarm for all the other animals in the forest, but the owl just sits and observes. It doesn't really have a song. I mean, it will hoo-hoo once in a while, but it's almost like it's asking a question as opposed to relaying information. So it is something like getting rid of the little chitty chatters and moving yourself forward, being able to go into the storms and not be affected by them emotionally. And having said that, whatever this gossip shadow energy that is kind of coming in here as a past with this wise one Hierophant and what you've been working on, it kind of, yeah, it feels like, well, now I lost it. Where did it go? It's not important. Let's not talk about it. Okay, the future. That was weird. Okay. What will you finish working on? Wow, the King of Cups. Okay, so you've been working on, right now, the wise one. It just really feels like, too, finding the true expression of your calling. Whatever that calling is for you. The true expression of your calling. And you'll finish working on is the King of Cups. So, too, I also feel like this is keeping an awful lot of stuff under the surface. A lot of emotion, a lot of passion, feelings. There could be a storm. Look at these storms going on all around this guy, and he's just like focused on us, you know, the person observing the card. So really being in control of where your focus lands too, emotionally. You'll finish working on that. So that's actually pretty keen. It's like where your emotional focus lands, you will have great capacity in this. what will be healed? The Queen of Pentacles. It's coming in as a different energy. Like it's not, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Okay, it's like I feel like you found somebody else's thing here. You found something that belongs to someone else. Whether that's information, I don't know what it is. I mean, it could be a physical thing even. But then what did you do with this that you found? Because there's no cards leading up to this Queen of Pentacles. And there's a whole story that goes on between the Page and the Knight and then the Queen with this. The Page is planting what the Queen's about to find in the soil. And the Knight is almost trying to make the journey back to this after a long period of time of learning and developing and growing and changing through life. Going back to that initial seed that was planted and then realizing like all of the hard work paid off. Could be yours. It could be like a long time ago too. And it's not even like appearing in here. So it's a possibility. It's definitely finding something. And this something has to do with, you know, really the value that you have, the true value that you have. And I don't know if it's almost too, if there's something that you found that's not yours, I mean, like it's not your experience either. And that's what I get here with the Wise One, like these two different tribes. And the tribe that I feel like you came from, I already gave those examples, so not like hashing all out again. But then finding this new concept. And like what you can build with that. There's something, I do want to feel like too, like on some level here, there's something proven to you or you prove something to yourself. And that evidence is shown in the physicality of life. Like it's just something. There's something that you can physically touch and say, I did this. I accomplished it. And that's what will be healed. So maybe like, you know, doing a lot of work on yourself, doing a lot of work just in terms of how you interact with the world and everyone around you. And not necessarily seeing a result in this physically yet. But I really feel like you will in the future. There's something healed about that. So what will be ready to harvest? The 10 of Wands. Well, I guess if it's ready to go. It's ready. And look at you. Think of harvest. God, he looks like to me he's carrying a great big basket with breadsticks. But honestly, he looks like he's coming through a dark, like, mine tunnel with all these sticks and boards. So why would sticks and boards be in a mine tunnel? Because it's creating the foundation to get through the mine. It's creating the path, the trail, the rail system, the supports, the beams. Why did you pick all these things up along the way? It just feels like the debris and things that would be left behind in creating all of these supports, path systems, rail systems within a mine. I kind of feel like too, there's something here about taking on things that you don't need to take on. And you know, that could even be like something dating back here. Because when you are involved with that kind of gossip energy, you kind of get involved with it, and before you know it, you're always getting information about things that you really don't necessarily need to know, but it just keeps coming your way. And then it can almost become a burden, like knowing so much. I really would just like to walk down the street and know anything about anybody. So I guess it's almost like he's gone in there to clean up the mine. Like, why are you picking all that up? But that's something that's going to be ready to harvest. Just perhaps even like just realizing, honestly, why have I picked all this up along the way? I don't need to carry it. It's not my responsibility. Oh, and that's, okay, that's bringing me back over here to the Wise One, because that's relieving this responsibility. There we go. Okay, because it didn't feel malicious. It didn't feel like it was malicious. Like my first example of the first tribe where, or no, it was the second tribe I think that I described where you initially came from, where, you know, you take on this information and then it almost is like, I feel like he goes and he tells the other chiefs. But it's telling the other chiefs because I feel like it's resolving, coming to, yeah, helping to resolve these issues. Helping to resolve these issues. But it's also like taking the burden off of it just being you. But then the new concept of this is, yeah, like it doesn't need to be your burden. So it doesn't need to be, I don't know if some of you are even like psychiatrists. Like it kind of feels like that too, doesn't it? Right? Like being a psychiatrist, being a psychologist, sociologist, anything of that manner. The world. This card is fascinating. Seeing the cold little child, the cold little orphan through the keyhole. But it's like it can't be reached. Very much being the observer. You are really being the observer. I would be surprised if anyone around you is getting much information out of you right now, Sagittarius. Even your reading has been very, like, keeping me on a straight and narrow path compared to a lot of the other ones that I've done this week. Let's look at this gossip card. The gossip card. Oh, look, see, it has something to do with the Queen of Pentacles. So what is that? The burden. So there's two queens here. There's two queens in both, in a sense, are carrying burdens that represent them. Well, okay, the Pentacles, but no, give me a second here. Because look at the Queen of, well, even the Wands. But, you know, I'm just going with it the way I saw it. Because this person is walking on the ground and they're carrying, like, sticks. And it's just those sticks. And these are things that the Queen of Pentacles would be able to deal with. Because it's three-dimensional. It's practical. We can do practical things with these sticks. So here, there's, like, something being brought to this person. This Queen of Pentacles. These burdens. Other people's burdens being brought to you. There's something here that you're cleansing in that. Other people's burdens, and these could be things about them that you'd really rather not know. I don't know. Like, but somehow you get that information. So there could even be someone around you who's quite gossipy. Or maybe you're a psychologist. No. But then, okay, the Queen of Swords, she's got the Five of Pentacles with her. And you're going to say, well, Cindy, Pentacles. But look at the scene. Like, it's snow and ice and it's cold. And the Queen of Swords is the one that could be identified as the cold hard bitch. But she's that way for a reason. She's seen the truth and the clarity within men's hearts. Mankind's heart. Yeah, really, actually, that is where that comes from. So it's not a complete, like, she's earned it. She's earned it. But the Queen of Pentacles, like, gosh. I really feel like you're processing something here about the cold, hard realities of life. And the burdens of knowing too much about it. The Owl. The Sun and the Eight of Swords. Okay, now I'm hearing, what does the gossip tell you? So I don't know what the gossip is, but the gossip tells you that there are heavy burdens going on around you. Oh, that's funny. Oh. before I started your reading, I was looking at my card spread that I have for this week. And I thought to myself, it'd be interesting to redo this reading, but ask, instead of your current and future energies, what are the current energies going on around you? But I really didn't like play it, move it beyond my thought process beyond that. I just like that. But that's actually, see, like the gossip, like receiving this information, maybe that was like a preempt into what I was coming to your reading. Heavy practical burdens that go on around you. I just feel like you know shit that you'd really rather not know because it makes life difficult. And then it also, like, it's almost like proving in some level here that the sun cannot always be attained, or it's not available, or it's hard to reach. Now, what is this energy? You just somehow, you know, things that make it difficult to, I want to say too, on some level, to not want to help. So, yeah, I don't know. The Wise One, the Three of Swords, and the Knight of Cups. What you've been working on, the Wise One. Temperance, the Seven of Cups, and the Queen of Cups. Oh my goodness. I love that. I feel like it's showing where love is. That's the best way I would describe it. It's like kind of gently and without pushing, which again is to me the best part of this scenario, tribe, that we described, like just letting it be, and just, but allow love to show where it exists. Because the Seven of Cups into the Queen of Cups, confusion, illusions, but then the Queen of Cups is not hiding any. You have 3 queens already over here. Yeah. But doing it in a very patient and quiet manner with temperance. There you are. Ah, y'all. You guys have reached some important point in your growth and cycle. I always look at the major arcanas for each zodiac as not being something that you naturally exhibit in life. It's something that you have to attain in this lifetime. And I've always looked at temperance and I've always thought it's such an unusual one for Sagittarius. You know, like most of the other ones I can easily connect and say, okay, I can see. But Sagittarius is like, it is the higher mind though, right? It is the higher mind. It is the philosophical. It is the exploration. It is the travel. Like there's, it is the 8 of Wands too. Like I believe it's, I don't remember what planetary placement. Maybe it's Jupiter in Sagittarius. I'm not sure. Or Mars. Maybe no, probably Mars in Sagittarius. Or maybe Mercury. I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass. So it's just like this movement, but then you get temperance as your card. But that means if you are sitting at what you've been working on here, is you are allowing love to flow through you, as opposed to you trying to flow and perhaps find love. But I really feel like you've come to some beautiful balance within yourself here. 3 of Swords. What have you been healing? Well, that's a good thing to heal. It's the 3 of Swords. The Chariot and the Knight of Cups. It's kind of feeling like, what direction do I go in? Now, what you've been healing, right, is really the most prominent thing and obvious thing to ever heal is your heart. I mean, your mind could also come into that, but the heart is obviously a really important space in terms of our guidance system and our souls, and being able to move openly and freely and have a happy existence, a fulfilling existence. So you have the Chariot before the Knight of Cups, and the Knight of Cups is what is starting to blossom. So I feel like you've made a choice about moving forward. You've made a choice about moving forward. Go back to this, continue to work on something here, but I feel like you've brought it with temperance to as far as you can bring it. So now it's like being open with your heart space, sharing your emotions, particularly those that are healed. I mean, it really signifies that your heart space is healed in a way to be able to take it into the Knight of Cups. Or it's on its way. It's on its way. What is starting to blossom, right? Because it's what you've been healing. What is starting to blossom? The Knight of Cups, the Ace of Pentacles. There's that thing that represents the achievement, like seeing the evidence of some sort of work that you've done. Seeing it materialize in your life. There's a new beginning starting to blossom here for you. And it has everything to do with your heart. So, in the future, you have the shapeshifter. And even the obvious way of looking at that is going from a broken heart to a healed heart. The Seven of Pentacles and the Tower. I feel like your planning is about to be over. And I feel like your planning is whatever you're planning. Whatever, you know, you've had to continuously adjust. Okay, I haven't achieved it yet. I've got to keep kind of working on what my plan is. Oh, now this is what I need to do. These are the next steps that I obviously must need to do because I'm not getting any further in this procedure. So now we need to go over here and come up with something new to do. Or, you know, like, but it feels like this breaks something down. It literally is like breaking something down here. Something that's been really difficult to crumble. So it's like you recognize something in your life that's not sustainable, whether it's a habit, a dynamic, a place, a path that you've chosen. But the thing here has been breaking this down. So perhaps wanting to do it in a way that is very like, because you have this balanced energy, very balanced. And then, so then the Bear. The Five of Swords. Well, and that could be connected to breaking something down here with the Tower. You could be making in the future some final decisions about things that you would like to, that you know that you can't continue to have in your life. Oh, maybe it's this, I don't know, the gossip energy. I'm not sure. Something. It's something. Some Sagittarius. I'm just too, like, I'm feeling like I'm just supposed to just leave it and keep going. Your energy is just, I am. Okay, so what will you finish working on? The King of Cups. There we go, like going from the Knight to the King. The Judgment card and the Five of Cups. Wow, that's interesting. You've had a lot of emotion about disappointments. Things that, okay, there's been some emotional, don't we all, some emotional disappointments in life here. But perhaps a prolonged focus on that and like moving beyond that, really just moving beyond that and realizing, you know what, there's a beautiful ocean here. Am I crying at the beach because these cups fell on the floor? I still have candles and lobster and bread and a couple of other cups here, the Two of Cups, right? And then there's this beautiful ocean, and getting into the ocean, getting into your emotions again. Being present with your emotions. What will be healed? Now, this is really interesting. The Queen of Pentacles, and then what will be ready to harvest? The Ten of Wands. They're both sitting beside each other in the gossip. So, what will be healed here with the Queen of Pentacles? Starts off, no, not dream. Wow, bringing something in, watching. Okay. The Three of Wands, the Page of Swords, the Three of Pentacles. There's no burden here, okay, with this Queen of Pentacles, which is what showed up in the current energy. I don't know. There's part of me feels like you are observing something. Gosh, how could I not? Look at these cards. Look at them like looking, or maybe someone's observing you. Not sure here, but somebody's observing something. It's all over the place in this reading. All over the place. So whoever this Queen of Pentacles is, there's no burden here. Because this person is receiving something. And they're not receiving burdens. That they're not receiving burdens. They're receiving the prize of what they planted a long time ago. So it could be you too, because this is almost like find it, right? There you go. There's the Ace of Pentacles. And there's no burden around this. It's just expecting new things to come towards you, expecting new things to come towards you, expecting you to move towards opportunities, seeing these for what they are, and building new things with this. Bringing the right people into the right space for you. The Ten of Wands is what will be ready to harvest. Here we go. There's that, it's like the burden that the Queen of Pentacles was carrying, or is right now, because it's in the current energy. Justice. I thought there was another one. There's one on the chair. I know one. Some of you. Cindy, one fell off the table. I know, it's sitting on my chair. Oh, the Nine of Pentacles. Wow. There's no burdens there. Oh my gosh. It's just peace and tranquility. Balance, comfort. That's awesome. You're going to be ready to harvest that. There'll be justice. There'll be whatever the justice is, like a balance, a karmic correction, an energetic correction, and abundance. Being able to enjoy your abundance, being able to feel, I want to say, safe and unburdened by problems or other people's shit. Oh, there we have Mr. King of Cups is at the bottom with the Ace of Swords. Look at that. Having like all these really deep healed emotions. Now, these deep healed emotions, the reason I put healed in that though is too because I think there has to be a journey to become the King of Cups. Right? Obviously, you got to do the Page, the Knight, the Queen. But with this King is like all of the burdens of life, like only making you deeper as opposed to making you jaded and shallow. And then like being able to clearly see the truth. Very level-headed reading, Sagittarius. So, my friends, I'm going to go do the extended. In the extended, I'm going to look at the in-between energy, which might be interesting because there does feel like quite a bit of space here. If not space, energy shifts. So I'm going to look at the in-between energy of your current and future. I'm going to look at personal challenge, distraction to be aware of, and area to focus on in the in-between. So thank you so much, Sagittarius. I release your energy. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.